Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Immigrant Education Collaborative Podcast. Today, I'm your host, Zora Brown Andrews, and we have a special guest who I've known since I was 3 years old. And now we're pushing 30. This is Liz.
Hi, my name is Lizkatherine Rivera, and I am from Washington, D.C., currently a freshman in George Mason University, and I am a child of a Dominican mother and Puerto Rican father.
So, what is your college major and what are your future career plans?
So I'm majoring in psychology. And I plan to one day own my own practice or clinic and become a therapist. But I'm really indecisive right now because I also want to major in sonography. So I'm not too sure if I want to do psychology and sonography to become an ultrasound tech because I find it really interesting to see like how like the baby is and stuff like that. And I think it's honestly, I just think it's really cute when you see the pregnant women and then you tell them like, "Oh, it's a girl, it's a boy." And yeah, so I'm really indecisive on what I want to do. But right now, I still have in mind psychology and one day owning my own practice or clinic and becoming a therapist.
So, how is college going so far for you? Like education wise, social wise, everything wise?
I would say it's going okay. Educationally wise, like it's pretty good. I did pretty well in my first semester. It was kind of, I guess in a way you could say it was kind of easy to transition in college because it's like during high school, like they kind of like set us up to being like, this is how it's gonna be. You need to be used to this workload. And socially wise, it's a bit challenging, but over the time, slowly and slowly, I'm getting to know more people. But it's definitely a challenge. It's not like high school where you just kind of just make friends in an instant. You really have to put yourself out there.
What challenges did you face being a first generation student to completely do K through 12 completely in America?
So, as a child from like elementary school, I'd say it was pretty normal since I went to a school that was bilingual. So, it wasn't very difficult for my mother to really understand what was going on in school. Also, my father, he was pretty involved in my elementary time period. So, it was like even if there wasn't someone to that could speak Spanish, my father, he knows English pretty well. So he could always like help my mom out. During middle school, I would say that's where it got a little challenging because I wasn't in a school that was strictly English and Spanish now. It was some teachers didn't speak Spanish, some teachers did. So it was kind of a challenge and my mom didn't really know like, oh, I can call someone or I can ask for a translator. And I think that's really where like it got a little rocky. And then also in high school, I would say it went back to being normal because in my high school that I went to, they had these translators that were actually students in the school. So whenever she needed something it from the school or she needed help from something or she wanted to know what was going on with me educationally, there was always someone that could speak Spanish. So I would really say during my middle school years, it was quite tough for my mom to really understand what was going on and how I was doing academically. And you could really see that through my grades and how I acted at school because I was kind of like, I was in middle school. Like I wanted to do whatever I want. So it was like, oh, my mom isn't understanding anything and she doesn't understand how to get to grades, how to do this and that. So I just didn't care. And you could really see how that affected me educationally.
So, what were some of the challenges that your mom faced, like while you were in middle school? Like, who would she try to talk to and they couldn't really communicate? And she just, like, what was that like for you and for her?
I think language and technology had something to do with it because obviously when I was younger in elementary school, a lot of people didn't really use technology. Like it was always paper. And since my mom was from a foreign country, there wasn't a lot of technology when she was in that country. So it was kind of like a new territory for her. So a lot of the times, everything was electronically in middle school. So that was kind of like a shift for her. So she didn't know how to get to grades. She didn't know how to email teachers. She didn't know how to do a lot of things to advocate for me. And some challenges, I guess like it would really be you would really see the challenges in parent teacher conferences because I had a teacher that didn't speak any type of English. So sometimes I was the translator and like I said, I was in middle school. I didn't want to get in trouble obviously. So I would kind of like bend a little bit what the teacher was saying so I wouldn't get in trouble. So she truly would never know because of that language barrier. And I think that's really like what had her struggling because she would see, well, the rare time she would get to see my grades, she would see I'm not doing good in school and she would wonder what's going on. So
Mm.
that kind of challenged her because she was like, I don't know how to advocate for my child because I don't speak that language. And I also don't know how to use technology as well as other parents do.
Dang. So you feel like in high school she was more like able to interact since they had the translators?
Definitely. Even like there was a lot of Spanish speaking staff members in my school. Even the front desk office, they spoke Spanish. So it was really easy for her to if she wanted to know something about what was going on with me at school, she could call the front desk and the front desk could speak Spanish with her. And I feel like that really helped her and it really helped me too because at the end of the day, when she would see something wasn't going good with my grades or I was doing something wrong, she knew how to advocate for me. And I think it really helped me in high school because all 4 years I had really good grades and I kept up those grades.
So in what areas do you feel like your mom could have been better supported throughout your school career?
I feel like my mom, she supported me enough. I feel like I never thought, even during how I was talking about middle school, I never thought she didn't care because she would always ask me like, how are my grades? What are you doing in school? But I feel like I definitely felt like I needed that support was in 12th grade when college admissions were happening because I was in new territory and I couldn't go to my mother and ask her, "Hey, I need your help. I don't know how to do this." Because she also didn't know how to do it as well. So it was kind of like I had to find people that could help me. And it was hard because it's like as a child, you're always going to go to your parents when you need help with something. And for me to not be able to do that, not being like, oh, I can just ask my mom how to do this, or oh, I can just ask my dad how to do this, it was definitely challenging. And like at one point, I thought I was like, I can't do this. Like, there's no way that I can do all of this on my own. Like, I need help. And I noticed that like in a lot of like college admissions and FAFSA, a lot of people do not speak Spanish or they don't translate everything in Spanish for you. While yes, the FAFSA website has a Spanish translation, if you call someone, it's really hard to get someone that speaks Spanish. Or if you're talking to a college, it's really hard to find someone that can speak Spanish for you. So it was definitely a struggle, and I feel like I really did need that support in 12th grade. But overall, like in my educational experience, I feel like she supported me the best that she could, and I really did appreciate that.
So who was like the biggest support for you during that process who was not related to you?
I would definitely say my counselor. If it wasn't for her, I don't think I would be in college right now. And I'm being so serious right now. I really think if she didn't help me as much as she did, I don't think I would be where I am right now. She helped me so much, and it definitely helped that she knew Spanish too because this was all new to me. So it was like, it was a bit hard to explain to her what I'm doing, what I need from her, why I need these things. And her knowing how to speak Spanish and also knowing like this college process, it really helped me and my mom out and my mom to understand what was going on with me in colleges. So she was definitely a big help. And to this day, I appreciate her so much.
Do you want to give her a shout out?
Oh, her name, ironically, her name is Rosalia Polanco, and my mom's name is Rosalia. So it
Oh
was kind
my
of, and
gosh, that's so
they're both
cute.
Dominican. So it was
Oh
great.
my gosh. So did like you have your older sister who's in college, right? Did she help you at all with that?
It was like a yes and no situation because we kind of went into different paths. I'm going into a 4-year college and she went to community college. And also, she didn't have a lot of financial aid when she was in that process because she told me that her counselor wasn't like too good with her. So like she struggled a lot. And so I feel like because she struggled a lot, she didn't really know how to help me with that. And she was also like, a 4-year college is different than a 2-year college. So it was like she could help me with specific things, but it was kind of like because we were doing such different things, it wasn't like she could help me too much.
Okay, so were your parents able to help you while you were like while you're in college? Are they able to like talk to anyone at the school that speaks Spanish, or is it still a challenge?
I definitely say it's still a challenge. Well, I wouldn't really say it's a challenge. I definitely don't see anyone that really speaks Spanish in my college now, but also because they don't really talk to parents anymore. I guess it's really I wouldn't say it's a challenge, but I definitely don't see that like if my mom did want to ask something about financial aid, I don't see where she could call someone and they could explain to her in Spanish because obviously my mom, she's the one who pays for my college, so she definitely wants to know what's going on money wise, and I don't really see that someone speaking Spanish or someone to help her out and to really make her understand what she's paying for, why she has to pay this amount. So I definitely do see some challenges, but at the same time it's not a challenge because now they don't really ask for parents permissions with anything.
When was the last time you had a tough decision to make and you asked your parents for their input?
I have two situations from this.
Okay.
It's definitely, I would say it was my college decisions. That was definitely a tough choice because my counselor kind of gave me two options. And one option was, they were both cheap options, but one option was cheaper than the other.
Hmm.
But the difference was that on one of the colleges, I would have to like get a dorm and everything, like stay in campus, while the other one, it was really cheap. But I would have to commute. And I think that was definitely a really big and tough decision for me. So when I asked my parents, they, it was like, it was it was tough for them because it was like they didn't really understand like what was the big deal about staying in campus and being so far away, cuz I would definitely say that was my mom's biggest fear, was me just going away, because in this country at least, like I'm all she has right now cuz my other sibling, she lives in Dominican Republic. So she definitely had a tough time deciding for me because she knew that I wanted to get away, but she also understood that like I could stay and be in a cheaper situation. So I decided to stay and choose the cheapest option because I was thinking about in the future, I probably won't be in like more debt and I won't be stressed out in the future about money wise. And then I would say the second biggest decision, which is currently still going on that we're deciding on, is if I want to transfer or not. Because wow, the college that I'm in right now, yes, it's cheap. I'm doing fine academically. I feel like it's just really not for me, and I don't really see myself growing and actually like becoming a better person in that college. So we're still having a tough time deciding whether I should transfer or not because we also understand that they give me a lot of money in that school, but it's also like my mental health, my happiness. Am I going to grow in that school? So we're kind of still deciding, and it's a really tough and big decision.
Well, Kent State is really good too, so.
Okay. I'll think about it.
It's really cheap. What's one thing that you're happy you did when your parents suggested that you do it?
I would say my mom told me to get a credit card once I turned 18 so I could build my credit. And she also told me that she would support me with that. So like if I didn't have enough money to pay the credit card off, she told me she would help me and pay it off because she really wanted me to build my credit because she she's been in this country for 20 about to be 25 years. So she's gone through what you shouldn't do when you have a credit card and what you should do to have a credit card. So her suggesting me to get a credit card at 18, I think it really was a good suggestion because it really did show me about responsibility and like it kind of put me out there in the real world about money and how I should manage my money. And I think it really is helping me um know like what I have to do when I have a credit card and what I can't do when I have a credit card. And I think it's really going to help me out in the future. So I really appreciate her for really pushing me to get a credit card at 18 because in the beginning I didn't want to because I was like, how am I going to pay it off if I don't have the money? Like my credit is going to be awful if I don't pay it. But she really convinced me and I really do appreciate her for that. And now I have a credit score and it's pretty good right now. So I hope to still keep it good over the years.
What advice would you give to any high school seniors or juniors that are going through kind of what you went through, going through the college application process, and their parents are kind of having trouble with um, just that communication?
I would definitely say talk to your counselor. I don't care if they're busy. I don't care if you're like, oh, they don't want to talk to me. Email, go to the office, go to their face. Anytime you see them, always talk to them and always ask questions. Email them, go to their office, talk to your counselor because the only person right now that you have is your counselor. Or you can talk to teachers, but I truly do suggest your college counselor go to them because personally me the reason why this process it wasn't easy but it went way smoother than it could have was because I was always at my college counselor's office. I was always emailing her, always trying to talk to her because I had so many questions. Another piece of advice I would say is visit your colleges, visit them so you could see if you could really see yourself there. Of course, do your research on your colleges, but don't go based off of what one person is saying. Don't go based off the website or TikTok, Instagram, social media, any type. I say you should really visit your colleges to really see if you could see yourself in these colleges.
Thank you so much, Liz, for this conversation. It was really insightful, and I hope that a lot of people can understand, what you've been through and can relate and can take your advice and all that. So, thank you so much.
So much for interviewing me. It was really great talking to you.
Of course. Thank you guys for watching this episode of the Immigrant Education Collaborative podcast. Stay tuned, another banger coming soon to your screen. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.